fucking Eagle Double G.
Snoop Dogg.
Da-da-da-da-da. You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
Yeah. Fuck you, Zuckerberg. Oh my God, yeah. So I got booted from Facebook, and if anybody's watching on Facebook right now, I'm circumventing that because, yeah, they booted me for watching a YouTube video of all things. And I get it. There's like a 30-second rule or something like that, but I don't know. I mean, I don't make money at this. Like seriously, a 3-day ban? Screw you, Jukin Media and Facebook. It's not like I should have been following the rules. Whoops. It was bad. So anyway, yeah. So we're just chilling at tonight's just the chill night. I mean, you're chewing right now. I'm trying to fill in the blanks here, but I need you. I need you here. Where are you at? Swallow that chip. Oh my God, that is I gotta carry this on my own for that entire chip. Are you serious right now? All right, check it out. We have somebody today that I kind of always wanted to kind of have on. She's interesting. She's my cousin, I'm going to say. She's my cousin. She's not from this country, and she's one of the greatest horseback riders I've seen. She's really good at what she does. Everybody say hello to Alexa.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Oh, yay,
Absolutely.
good.
Yeah, you know what? I meant every word. I've seen what you do. You do very, very well. You guys aren't riding right now, correct? Because of this whole virus thing?
Yeah, no, just because it's too much of a risk.
I can imagine. I saw something on Facebook that there was a couple stables that were actually riding in practicing safe distancing. That was a week and a half ago, so I'm assuming all of that they're done. Nobody's doing anything.
I know a lot of like local stables near us, like Synergy, Double Deuce, Fieldstone, all those like stables out by Chardon and everything, and farther out too. A lot of them have closed down. So
Okay, right on. Yeah, we got an echo.
yeah, I can tell.
I don't know why that's happening. You'll have to give me 1 second.
Okay, cool.
It loves you.
Go ahead and.
Hi.
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 Hi. Oh, by the way, I double shared on Facebook, so we're good.
That's awesome. Now, if we can just get like this like
Ec-
echo thing under control, we should be good.
Yeah. Try not to be loud.
It's okay. No, you're
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're fine. We can only hear you through our headphones.
Yeah.
Unless you've got it going through like your speakers.
Nope, I can't hear anything. I can hear it coming from your guys' area, but it's not actually coming through here.
Okay, so that's good.
Oh, wait. I think it might be... Oh, it's from my phone. From my phone, I can hear it.
Smart one.
Are you getting the feedback from your phone?
Yeah, I can hear it on my phone.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, I don't hear it actually coming from my computer and through my headphones.
Okay. I'm gonna try something here. So go ahead and give me if you're talking.
What? Talk.
Go ahead and say something. Yeah. It's
Can you? Is
You're
it
gonna have to deal with it.
okay? Cool. I'll try to. I don't know what I'm gonna try, but I'll just try to not be super loud.
No, you're okay. You're okay. Unfortunately, I don't know why it echoes like that. It's not so bad. It just sounds like you're in a cave. That's all.
Okay. Probably am, but that's okay.
Yeah, see, I don't know why that does that. That's just an issue I'll have to figure out some other time. But I do appreciate you spending the time with us.
Well, you're welcome.
Well, so what are some of the things that you've been trying to do to keep your mind busy, throughout this? I mean, I take it you really haven't gone and done much.
No, I have not. I've pretty much been staying in the house, hanging out with the dogs, hanging out with my mother. That's about it.
Well, that's not so bad. Your dogs keep you company. You are one humongous animal lover.
I love animals.
Well, see, that's a good thing. But
Mm-hmm.
so moving on to what we're going to be doing. A lot of what's going on in today's world. What are your thoughts? I mean, are you scared, or do you have any, concerns for yourself?
I'm scared, but at the same time, it's like, unfortunately, it's like we can't stay inside forever, which is like, because if we don't, it's just like we don't, because then the economy is gonna fall apart if we don't live.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It will fall apart. Being a part of the supply chain, with your father's company and me working there, I see, you know, if these companies don't get these certain things, even not just our company, but any other company, if people aren't going to work, it starts there. It starts at the supply chain when people run out of supplies and the supplies aren't coming. So
Yeah.
you're very right. That's a fair statement to make.
I mean, it's a big stress, I think, on a lot of like the business owners and stuff who have to stay open during this time, because it's a big risk staying open still.
It is a huge risk. I'm scared every time I gotta go out. So I share your fears, but you do what you can to stay clean and make sure that you practice safe
Distancing.
distancing. Because it's all doom. That's everybody talking about doom.
Yeah, no, it is. Like a lot of the news, like the media and stuff, it's hard to tell what is real and what isn't real. So then it just spreads more fear.
And that's the issue. People are saying what they want to say about it and not thinking of the consequences of their own words, and uninformed people that have no business talking about it. But you know what? It's going to be what it's going to be, and I don't think like us talking about it now isn't going to change anything. We just need to act. I mean, actions speak louder than words, so we'll move on, as we move through this and navigate this crappiness that the world has dealt us. As long as we make the right choices, the dumb ones will weed themselves out.
Yeah. No, I definitely think obviously we've been grounded now till what? April 30th, correct?
Grounded is an excellent word.
Yes, we've been grounded. We aren't allowed to leave.
No. No, we are
not unless it's for necessary reasons. We shouldn't be leaving our houses.
No, we shouldn't.
No.
Now I do leave the house for necessary reasons. We do get food. We do get
Yes.
the supplies we need. What do you think, Ash? I wish you could hear her mic.
She might be able to see me if she's watching the video too.
Oh wait, what the heck? I can hear her.
Oh, you can't? Oh, that's right, because we're live streaming.
Yes, I can hear you.
But no, like my thoughts pretty much, every day it's like, is it pollen or is it plague?
Mm-hmm.
Well, which one are we doing today? Explain
Yep.
these to me now.
Yeah, that's a good point, because what she's basically saying is like each day we find something new to bitch about. You know what I mean? Like, so it just so happens that this thing is real. So I mean, but
I mean, if it was just, I think if it was just the flu or just another little sickness we get, Disney World, out of the years of history it has been in, has never closed like this. They closed indefinitely.
it's a ghost town now.
I know. There's no one like hardly there. Vegas, which is one of the biggest party cities, and I've been there. And from experience, it's a ghost town. There's no one there. There's like hardly anyone there. And like big cities like New York City, like if this wasn't just some silly little virus, we wouldn't be doing any of this.
it's tough to even say silly little virus because it's not quite silly. You know what I mean?
No, it's not. But I feel like people still think it's just some. Oh, it's just a virus. It's like, oh well, flu kills more people in a year. I really think it's worse than they're letting us know because they don't want to spread a panic.
And that's very, very true. I don't think anybody wants stampeding, let alone stampeding idiots. Because, I mean, you're talking about looting, you're talking about, I mean, when you had looting in the past, there was always a cause behind it. This
LA riots?
Yeah, well, that's the point I'm getting at. So when you get something like this is stupidity if people riot, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It
is.
Supposed to be out anyway. Go home, Junior. Karen, you need to go home.
Karen, go home. No, I just saw. I was scrolling through social media and I saw this video of all these like teenagers on their bikes, like a huge crowd of these teenagers on their bikes riding together when they should be inside, separated from each other, and not in one giant crowd. And I think it's like. I think we messed up saying that it only affects elderly people. It affects everyone, but the issue is elderly people or people with like immune systems that are compromised struggle more getting over it, and some don't get over it.
That's that's the point. Is those kids going out are just perpetuating every ounce of that virus, and the people that do have autoimmune systems. Excuse me, that's not the proper way to say it.
No, compromised immune systems or
immunocompromised.
Yes.
And immuno, whatever you want to say, but yeah, they come across those people. Even if they come across their yard and say that they fall off their bike or something like that, and they put their hand on a mailbox to get themselves up. Well, that person goes out to get their mail and touches that mailbox, and now they got it.
Yeah.
It's stupid stuff like that. So
it is.
As depressing as this is, there are good things in this world. There are a lot of people helping out. There are a lot of fantastic things happening online. That's part of the reason I do this too, is because this is where technology is showing how it could be beneficial. You have people doing concerts. You have people doing, like Jimmy Fallon. He's doing the Tonight Show from his house with his kids.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool to see. So there are good and bad happening, and I'm thinking, we're really gonna find out what humanity is built on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're gonna look back at this and be embarrassed about a few things.
Well, I think it's like, I think we are going to be embarrassed. I think if you think about it, there are older generations who had to go through a lot worse, like 5 years of war at one point. And it's like, and we're complaining about having to be stuck in our house for like 3 months, 1 month, who knows how long. But like, I think me and my dad were talking about it the other night. He just said something about we're almost very spoiled. As a country with a lot of the privileges we get to have, and it's,
We're very spoiled. I actually think that we are 100% spoiled.
Oh yeah, like there are a lot of countries that do not get half the privileges we get.
Well, see, that's the thing though, because then some of these countries also do things that we can't do. Now, I'm not putting that on the scales of justice here and saying that, there's a substantial amount that they get to do. It's just different things they get to do that we don't, where, bathrooms are one thing, you know what I mean? We do it one way, they do it another, and which way's better, I don't know, but I get your point. You're right.
Yeah.
No, the thing I'm mad about the most is people don't understand, like, this virus was going on before, Kobe Bryant's death. It was already a big thing over in China. And as soon as that started over there, like China should have responded better how they did it. Instead, they just kept allowing people to travel, to and from their country. Like, we could have, they themselves could have stopped the spread of this in their own country. But instead, they try to sweep it under the rug. They try to keep it quiet. By then, we were We were months behind. Like, they were allowing people to come and go, and we were just like, dude, it takes 2 weeks for these symptoms to show.
Yeah.
And it's like, thanks, China. You dropped the ball.
Yeah, it's
Right.
they're definitely got an atonement coming up. They're gonna have to, something's gonna happen to China on the world stage for this. But what Tangerine Head said in the about calling it the Chinese disease, that was wrong.
Did you just call him Tangerine Head?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Uncle Paul would scold you for that.
No, you know what? It's I have my opinions about the man, but they'll remain mine because they're good and bad opinions.
You know what? We haven't died yet. Well, some of us. But that's
Some
not
of
our
us.
own.
Look, you polish a turd, it's still a turd.
Yeah.
No, he's a tanning bed turd. Get it right, bro.
Yeah, the tanning.
The tanning.
It's totally
The goggle marks are beautiful.
The goggle eyes. Thank you. Somebody had to say it. Somebody had to say it.
The goggle eyes, like me and my mom make fun of it all the time. It's like, no, just no. It's like an orange, and then it's like,
Jesus. All right. Moving on though, from this depressing topic. Good points, but I mean, you can beat this,
into the ground.
into the
till it's
ground.
nothing.
But there's no, the result's still the same. We're in the middle of this. We're dealing with it. We'll get by. And
Wash your hands.
so something that was brought up today. I think we're gonna include you in on this, Alexa, because you're in it. You're on it. You're on the show for the ride. You're
okay, cool.
our special third mystery co-host ish.
I'm the third wheel.
You're the third wheel in this three wheel. We're gonna run this into the ground.
Oh gosh. I'm ready.
But
all gonna
the
die.
question that was posed to me, which is a fantastic question, is what do you remember from the 90s and early 2000s? Now, I'm going to augment this because of the age gap. You were born in what year?
2002.
Okay, so we're going to include the late 2000s and 2010s because we're trying to remember back as far as we can go. So
Well, if we do that, we gotta go with you into the 80s.
yeah, I got to start. I'm gonna start, and we're gonna go around the table here, and we're gonna see if we all remember something significant from our. Now, it can be personal. It could be something that was historically significant. It could be anything, as long as it's something that is a powerful thing. It's a powerful memory, event, whatever. And for me, in the 90s, I'm gonna have to say that I didn't even know that it was that powerful of an event because it was all over the news. You don't know what it's gonna be until it's over. And so for us, it was just flipping through and like, oh, this is happening. And I'm gonna have to say it because you mentioned it earlier, the LA riots in '92. Although there were a few things beforehand. Actually, no, I'm gonna change that. The Gulf War. When we went to war. Everybody was scared.
What year was that?
91.
Okay, so I was 1, so I didn't remember it. That's
Yeah,
why.
the Gulf War. Well, everybody was talking war. Everybody's saying that we're going to war. And me being the kid I was only in 4th grade, I think. I wasn't that old. And we were all kind of scared shitless. And they brought in Army sergeants to talk about it, to calm the kids down because the whole country was ready to kick Saddam's ass. And I remember seeing, and you can look this up on YouTube, Alexa, the war started on CNN because they were making a report at the time, and all of a sudden you just see these rockets at night just start going off and blowing up because they were trying to shoot the stealth bombers down because they were flying over. And we were just picking off like radio towers and all
Wow.
this stuff. So it was It was intense. It was intense for a fourth grader, and I think what you're like 8 or 9 at the time. Wait, well, if it was 91, I would have been 10. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't that
was
old.
one, bro.
Yeah,
Actually, it was
that was-
one.
that was my memory from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. So yeah, go ahead, Ashley.
I mean, I have I have several memories. One memory that I do remember, probably
gotta
one
pick
of
one.
the earliest. It has to be Hurricane Andrew making landfall.
Okay. Yeah, because that would have been around your neck of the woods.
Yeah, I mean, I remember parts of it. I remember the storm.
You know Andrew? Do you remember Andrew?
I think so. I know about it. I don't know much about it.
You wouldn't have been alive at the time, but it would still be talked about.
Yes, I know about the hurricane. I don't know any too much about it though.
It was bad.
Yeah,
I think I was alive for Sandy. I think yeah.
Katrina.
Yeah,
and-
you were
Yeah,
for
Katrina and Sandy, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
No, like I said, when I lived in Decatur, Alabama, which is my hometown. At the time, I don't remember the year. I know it was early 90s, like 93, 94 maybe even. All I remember is I remember sitting in front of a TV and I remember they were talking about like levees, like waterways, like dams and stuff
Yeah.
that bust open and it was just like gushing water. That's all I remember. And I do remember like I think it made it all the way to Coleman, Alabama,
Okay.
which was like 30 minutes away from where I lived. So
It's close.
we got our fair share of heavy rain. And it was like my first storm that I really experienced.
That's
and
cool.
remember feeling terrified.
Okay. Well, hey, you know what? That's it. That would impact my life. I mean, it's a freaking hurricane. It's no joke. So
All I
Yeah.
remember is I wasn't in school yet.
nice. So, all right, that was cool. I like that. Was a good one. All right, what up, Alexa? What do you got?
Oh wow. Okay. So I've got a good chunk of memories, but I think one that I think affected my life as into like putting it more into like perspective. I think of the real world and like how scary it could be. Is when the Chardon shooting happened.
Oh wow, no, that's a great one actually.
That hit
So it was so weird. I remember getting up in the morning, my normal routine of getting up, getting ready for school. I was in the third grade at the time, I believe. Fourth grade. Fourth grade. I was in fourth grade. And I remember getting ready, and I went out to the bus stop, and I was waiting for the bus like usual. And then my dad hadn't left for work yet. And I just remember my mom telling me to get back in the house. So all of us had gotten back in the house, and like it was weird. We went in the living room, and you remember my old house. So we all went in the living room, and it was just on the news, and like you could see the choppers and stuff, and it was so. I didn't quite understand what it meant right away. Like I didn't know what any of that meant because I was still pretty young, and I had no idea that school shootings existed. I had no idea that was a thing until that day. And I remember being at school for like a whole week, and it was so weird.
Well,
was just-
I get it, and I'll tell you why. I lived through one. Have you heard of the Columbine shooting?
Yep.
It was in Littleton, Colorado, and obviously it's states away. But that's funny. I should have called this as my own because that was the day my life changed the same ways yours did. Not that I didn't know about school shootings because there were people got gun threats and stuff like that. But anyway, that was different. That's when things went from easygoing to locked down to where we're living in the world we're living in now. See, when I say that the world used to be different, and it did. I mean, you're seeing the world the way you see it because that's what you grew up in, so it's normal. For me, the way the world is, it's not normal. This isn't the way I grew up. and that's because of a certain specific event. Columbine. We were able to stay out late. There were no curfews. The streetlights came on. You came home. Sometimes you stayed after. Nobody chased you down in weird vans and no windowless vans. And the ice cream man wasn't a 3-time felon that has to register. You know, you could do things. And Blockbuster was the shit. I'm just saying that right now. Blockbuster. I miss it.
I remember.
But when the school shooting happened, the very next day at Menor High after Columbine happened, I was handed a lanyard with my name and picture on it, and I wasn't allowed in the school without it. And it was like, wait a minute, I used to just come in and go as I pleased. What the hell?
Jesus,
So-
all we had were just clear backpacks.
It spiraled out of control to then the next year in school. See, I had graduated 99, 2000. It happened in 99. No, it happened in April of 99.
April 20th.
So I was in 11th grade. Make it brief. We got lanyards. Then we went in summer vacation. Then we came back in 99 for school, and there was a security booth and a full-time cop. And it's like, wait a minute. What happened to the rent-a-cops? You know, what happened to the guy that would give me the pizza? You know?
Right.
And this guy's not giving me pizza. He's telling me to get the fuck back to class or else he's going to detain me. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm a senior. But so anyway, I just without making a long to make a long story short, I understand you completely. The school shooting.
It was weird because when we went back, like obviously I never understood why we did our lockdowns and stuff, and from kindergarten to up to what grade I was in at the time. I never quite understood what was the reasoning, but now I understand completely why the reasoning is.
It's a scary thing to think that somebody that you know could snap like that.
It is, and it's almost sad to think that someone thinks that's the way to do that, just to do certain things.
I tell you what, I've thought about this too because I've researched the Columbine shootings to exhaustion, and Ashley as well, you know, because she got caught up in the, you know, we were both outcasts.
I was in 4th grade.
Okay, fair enough. But we were both outcasts. I was. If you look at the Columbine shooting and you look at that crowd of kids, those kids hung out with, you know, the whole trench coat mafia thing and the 9 Inch Nails and the Marilyn Manson.
What were their names again? I forgot.
Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris.
Okay.
And that was my crowd. And that the question I posed to myself is, I was in their shoes. I was bullied. I was picked on. I did sports, and I think I got me a little bit of respect, but that didn't, you know, stop the other kids that weren't in sports. You know, I wouldn't get made fun of by the jocks. By the end of school, I was getting made fun of by everybody else, but that's not the point. I had the same shit happen to me. So what made me different than them? If we were in the same situations and same scenarios, why did they pull a trigger and I didn't?
You also
Who
don't
knows?
suffer from mental health.
No, it turned out that they actually were screwed up in the head. So, you know, apparently I'm normal.
It's probably definitely. I definitely think mental health definitely plays a part in all that.
That's what they determined too. They looking because they found their journals and they have something called the basement tapes, which probably nobody's ever really gonna see. But they recorded themselves the day before and they explained themselves. And I guess the gist of it is that their reasons were superficial reasons, typical like I'm mad at this and I'm mad at that. But if you read their journals,
man.
then you start to see that the tall one, Dylan, was a romantic depressive who couldn't get a girl and was always depressed when he couldn't get the girls. And he was pretty much a follower. And then you get Eric, who
was
comes
a
from
psychopath?
who was a bona fide psychopath, and he was able to control Dylan. So anyway, so not to go too far on this subject either, because it's pretty depressing. That's a crazy subject to look back on and say this is when
Yeah.
changed.
Do you? I don't know if you remember because obviously you guys aren't in that county. But I remember we used to take snow days all the time. But It was one time. It was
You
like
guys got snow days?
yes.
Okay.
You would hard to believe, right? In Chardon, Ohio, we
No,
get
I
snow.
did.
I never got snow days.
I never did
Oh
either.
yeah, Chardon. Oh my gosh, we had a blizzard. I forget in what year was it. No one could
Snow
leave.
some of the snow you guys got though was excessive, so I can get that. But
Yeah.
we had to go. If it was negative degrees outside, they're like, bundle up.
Right? Yeah, no. But I remember it was like I want to say like 5 in the morning, and literally I remember the phone call coming through. It was like an automated robot voice, and they were saying that TJ Lane broke out of jail, and he was like free. Do you remember this? Do you remember that at all?
I do remember that. That was
School got canceled that day. It was like no one's leaving your house. No one leaves your house.
It's funny too, is because I probably wouldn't have been scared had I been a student, because I'm like, well, if I was him, I'm not going back to school. What are we worried about? I mean, I'll take the school day, but he's not coming here.
Yeah, Chardon, I believe, they still mourn that whole thing. They still,
And Columbine does. They just did a documentary 20 years later.
Yeah. It's
crazy.
definitely a rough subject, and unfortunately, it's sad to say this, but like we've almost become numb to the idea of the fact that like it can happen, like it's our reality.
It absolutely true, because and I'm gonna go ahead and say something more about the fact that I'm older. It's true because back in the 80s and 90s, it was a bit more taboo. Like, the LGBTQ or whatever community, that was all, the red light district. It was all backdoor stuff. It was all, and then you go on to, you say school shooting, so morbid subjects, death and all that stuff. That was all like, holy crap, they're talking about it. It was all a big deal. And like you said, now it's out there. It's all out there. The veil has been dropped.
That, and the reason why society is kind of becoming numb to school shootings is like there for a while they were constant. It felt like there was like one or two like a week.
Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
There was another one. I forget where, but there was like a couple others. I don't remember where. I know Sandy Hook. There was the one in Florida, wasn't it? Like 2 years ago.
yeah,
Like right around
it wasn't
Valentine's
very long.
Day.
Yeah, he
Like
came in
Valentine's
with
Day.
the AR-15. That started the whole AR-15 argument in Congress.
Yep.
No, I think that was actually Dylan Roof, because he
No,
went into the
Dillard-
church.
Yeah, that was the one with the church, but yeah, that wasn't. No, I'm talking about the kid that just walked into the school and just started shooting. And there's that one survivor that goes around. He put himself in front of students.
Yep.
I was there.
No,
That guy?
no. That he got shot. The kid that actually put himself in front of some students, and he got shot up.
No, I'm kind of poking fun at the ones that you saw constantly on the thing going.
Oh yeah,
the boy and the girl.
Yeah, that's what unless you were.
I think it was the I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it was like at a community college. There's one in October 1st, 2015.
Yeah, I think that was the Virginia Tech.
Well, no, Virginia Tech is
No.
2007, April
Okay, so
16th.
no, I'm talking about a high school one. But if there was one if there's one at a community college, then
There
yeah,
was the
there's
one
another
that-
one.
And then there was
Yeah, the timeline. I
was
just looked it up. There's a timeline. I don't think.
Wikipedia would definitely have it too, because that's where I looked up all my information on Columbine, and then
Yeah.
the YouTube videos, and actually
Mhm.
there's surveillance footage of Columbine as well. That's crazy though, because I that was my generation. It's really tough to even think about, and then you think about Chardon too. That's your generation.
Yep.
So it's like every generation has a school shooting to remember them by.
Like there's the sad part is like I remember a lot of like scary like things like shootings, bombings, and all that stuff. Like the Boston Marathon, the one that happened in Paris, I think.
Yeah.
The Ariana Grande concert, the same concert I basically went to like 2 months before,
Yeah, just
which was slightly terrifying. Yeah, so there's that. I mean, it's just the reality of it is like, oh, the Las Vegas shooting a week before, like the week after, that was not even like a few days. I think I just came home like not that long after. It's just
That
like
was in 2017, wasn't it?
I don't remember. I had just come home and it was like a few days after, and it just like happened.
The world is going crazy. I'm telling you.
I
The
know.
only reason why I asked about the thing is I think it happened the month after.
Crazy.
And then, like, believe it or not, it's like when me and Mason went with you and Aunt Kat and Uncle Paul to Vegas, our hotel rooms overlooked that lot.
Actually, when I just went back there recently, it was the same lot we overlooked. We looked over the same lot where it happened,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
it's
no,
insane.
that-
It happened October 1st, 2017.
Yeah, right after
Yeah.
May May was born.
Yep.
Yeah. That was the hotel shooting, right?
Yeah,
The
that was
Mandalay
the-
Bay. Mandalay
yeah.
Bay. And there's I was actually waiting the couple years to actually really start researching it because of the Freedom of Information Act. So I'm waiting for a lot of things to be released. So that way, when I go ahead and actually research it, I'm just gonna ingest everything, because when I research this, when I talk about a subject, I want to know, like Columbine, I could talk about it and actually,
Know your stuff.
know my shit, because I don't want to
Yeah.
talk out my ass. So when it comes to this Mandalay Bay stuff, I know a little bit about it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wait for all this stuff to come out, and then I'm going to eat it up, and that way, if anybody wants to debate me on it, I'm going to crush them.
Remember when we were there, Alexa, like how empty and like just kind of like overall, like the entire casino itself, like that casino had a spooky, eerie kind of
Yep.
vibe to it. Like
Yeah,
it was
now
very quiet.
it's obviously right now it's not booming because nowhere in Vegas is booming or but it definitely has bounced back from that incident. But we didn't like right after when we went there was like no one there.
Yeah,
No
that
one
was
wanted to be there.
Scary. I do know they have blocked off the floor that his room was on because people kept wanting to stay on the floor. They actually boarded up the hotel room.
Yeah.
It's just a solid wall where the door was.
I forget. Did he kill himself?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure if they shot him or if he killed himself.
To want to take your own life, too. That's tough.
You know you fucked up, and the police are coming.
Well, he might have already had it planned, and it was like, look, I've got all this ammunition, and one of them's for me. It's tough. But you know what? This was actually a really cool topic to talk about. I'm impressed with you, Alexa, that this is how deep you can go. So that's well done.
Yay, cool.
Moving on though, there is something I did want to bring up. We have down here is a little bit of history talk, but I think I'm going to go ahead and augment that a little bit because we started talking. You got me thinking. You actually, just spiritual stuff. And the only reason I'm thinking about that is you're talking about boarding up the Mandalay Bay, right? That room's boarded up and that guy died in there. Now, I'm not specific. I had something else specifically along these lines to talk about, but that's going to be something weird's going to be on that floor in due time. So what I'm really trying to talk about, though, is have you ever had an experience that you can't explain?
Me?
Anybody?
A few people in our household have, but I've had a few. But one that's very significant to me, and I believe that this would make complete sense to something happening here. Do you guys know what the Biltmore is?
It sounds familiar, yes.
It is an estate. I believe, let me check where it is. It is in Asheville, North Carolina. So I remember going to this place. I went up to, I forget where, but we went to this it was very like, a lot of Native Americans used to be there and everything. So we went up there through the mountains and we stayed there for a few days. And then on our way back, we stopped at the Biltmore. And when obviously it's a huge mansion, people used to live there. So we went there and we did a tour. We did, all that stuff, and we enjoyed doing all that type of stuff at the time. So when we got to the basement part of the mansion. And when we got to the basement part, it was really weird. So we got to the basement, there was a pool area, and the pool was drained. So then when you walked out of the pool area, you got to where the servants would be, like preparing food and all that, and they would, do all that type of stuff, do laundry, and just all sorts of stuff down there. And I was walking, and the group was all staring at like inside the kitchen, and I remember like just looking down the hall, and I over my like dead body, I saw someone walk very like quickly, but not super quickly where you couldn't make it out. I saw someone walk into the wall, and that was it. And so we walked past there, and there were these huge like double doors right where that person would have been. And if someone were to open that door, you'd hear like the open and the close. They were so heavy.
Right.
So I was just like freaked out, and I didn't say anything. I was just like, okay. I was like, no. But it was very fascinating. It was very cool, but it was also slightly terrifying at the same time.
I can imagine.
And we've had a few experiences here at our house.
Oh yeah.
Well, and my mother gets these reports. My mother. So it was really weird. It was me and Brad at the time, and my dad. My dad, I forget where he was, but no one was. Everyone was inside the house, and my mom was outside gardening, doing her thing. This was when we first moved here. And obviously we have a very old house, but it's been, remodeled and everything. But I don't know if you know this, but our neighbors, they found like Indian bones in their backyard. So they dug those up.
Can they prove that?
They have, I forget where. They have like the photos and stuff they showed us. I forget what. But also Mason's Landing in the Indian Point area. All this was supposedly Indian like grounds or something like that at one point.
Okay.
But like that's what at least what I've been told. But it was really weird though. But also kids. I'm pretty sure obviously little kids that used to live here had passed away. So that was a thing here too at the time. But my mom was outside gardening. And she swears that she thought it was one of us. She literally heard someone say hi, like right behind her. And she turned around expecting to see one of us, but none of us were there.
Oh God, that had to put the hair on the back of her neck up.
Yeah, my mom gets a lot of those really freaky experiences. So if you ever want to pick someone's brain about ghost experience or spirit experiences, that's where you want to go.
Well, I tell you what. I actually got a couple, and I actually got a story that I wrote. There's a Facebook page where you can share real and or fictional ghost stories, and I wrote one for it, but it's a short story, but I'll get into that in a second. But I do have... All right, look. When I was growing up in my teenage years, and I was in the haunted house and all that other stuff, I was 100% believer. But as I got older... I never stopped believing, but I changed the way I worded it, and I can't explain it. Can I say it's a ghost? No. Can I tell you what it is? No. But when I was working in the haunted house, if you're familiar with the Paynesville Fairgrounds, the building that says schoolhouse used to be a schoolhouse. The prevailing story, and there's a couple of them, but they all kind of follow the same line. But the one that I tend to believe is that there was a snowstorm. They couldn't leave the school. They had to stay there. So they lit fires to keep warm, and so much snow piled up on the roof, it collapsed and caught fire. And sad, a couple, a bunch of kids died, and it's said that there's a teacher and two little girls or two little boys, I don't know, that haunt that schoolhouse. Well, we're in there constantly building. During the week, we're repairing the houses and stuff, getting it ready for the next show. And I was in my scene, and I was in the corner of a very dark hallway. And the way it was supposed to work is that they came towards me, and we had this bright ass light before you walk into that hallway. It blinded them on purpose, so they couldn't see me in the corner. And then they would pass me and go around another corner into another scene. And this kid runs past the bright ass light and comes, he's coming by me real quick. So I'm like, oh, I better do my shtick. So I flip on my strobe light, I stomp on my platform, I scream my head off at him, and he's just standing there looking at me. And there's more than one kid that does that. So to me, it was just like, oh, he's being a dick. So he runs, and I'm like, well, I'm going to get you anyway. So I go off and I go chase after him. I turn the corner after he turned the corner, and I get into the next scene, and I'm like, where'd he go? And I asked the actor that was in the scene, I was like, hey, where'd that kid go? He goes, what kid? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Where did that kid go? And he goes, what kid? And I said, check, please. I'm out. I went out and took a break. I smoked a cigarette. I'm done. We're done. And I'm not joking.
I just got chills down my back. That's terrifying. Oh my God.
Well, it sticks with me because I can't explain it, but I know
Well,
what
yeah.
happened. I know what happened though. It happened. There was a kid, and then there wasn't a kid. So, is there any truth to those stories? Maybe.
There must be something going on, but we don't know quite know what.
No, but I want to share this story. I like this story. I call it the Ghost of Lakeshore because I used to walk Lakeshore all the time. It's exactly 7 miles from this house here to my friend's, well, he doesn't live there no more, but Troll's house in the Headlands. So it takes about 2.5 hours to walk. And so I would have plenty of time for me to be stuck in my own head. But I would consistently walk this, so I come up with the story. And it starts out with me leaving Troll's house to take a walk late at night. Because I would only walk at night, because then it would just be me, the cops, and the deer. And it's peaceful, too. So on this particular night, it's nice and warm. And I would be walking down Lakeshore. And I would pass St. Bede's, I would be going down, and I'd get to the golf course, and around that bend I would see the emergency lights. And the emergency lights would be the cops, the ambulance. It seems to be that there's an accident, and there was a collision, and there's somebody being loaded into the back of an ambulance. And so the story goes is I would walk past them and be, had this been the real story, I'd be talking about what I'm thinking about, but we're not going to get into all that. So I'm walking down, and I spend this entire 2.5 hours just having a little mini adventure, capped off by seeing this accident. And I get over to my street, and I'm thankful that I'm there. I get up to the house, and I punch the code in for the garage, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to go to bed. So I go into the house, and as I open the door, I walk inside as I'm stepping outside of my friend's house to do it all again.
Wow.
Because I was the guy getting put into the ambulance because I got hit by a car. I
Wow.
was doomed to walk that the entire time.
That's a plot twist.
Yeah.
That's a plot twist.
So I actually got to write this out. I did write it for them, but I've always come up with better versions in my head. I do have a version on Facebook, but yeah, I want to actually write it out as a short horror story.
Yeah, like I said, I definitely believe there's something in this world that causes things that we can't explain, and I don't know what it is, but there's something.
Well, I tell you what, we'll never know until it's our time to know.
Yep.
I mean, I've had several things that I can't explain. They happen, but I can't explain them. And like a couple of incidents have been like here in this house, that corner, in the other room, has totally freaked me out.
I'm never coming over again.
It's just my innocence, that's all.
Well, one of the things was like, I had like just started living here, and you know how like our living situation was back then. You know, I slept downstairs on like the couch or the
I've
cot,
spent many hours down here.
and like he would be asleep like in his up in our room, but it was
Yeah,
his
because
room at the
grandma
time.
was being very traditional at the time.
Well,
Can't
anyway,
sleep together.
Yeah, yeah.
Bye. Have a great time.
that left.
yeah, like, and I remember sleeping. I don't know what time it is. I forgot what time it was. It had to be like around 3:30 in the morning. Anyway, I remember waking up to like growls. I heard it. I heard like this deep, dark growl noise. And it came from the direction of like this door and that corner. Like it freaked me out. I was like, I mean, it freaked me out so much. Like I woke up and sat straight up and was like, "Will you shut up over there?" Yeah.
Wow.
And like I remember going back to sleep, and then like 2 nights later, it happened again.
Oh
But this time it was more than one growl.
no. I tell you what, I've never had an experience in this house like that. All my experiences were either footsteps or there was one night a long time ago. I'm talking like I was younger than Alexa, laying on the old couch that was down here, and I was sleeping. It was a Sunday, and I heard rustling. They were clothes hangers rustling in the room, the laundry room, and
Look at Alexa. She's like, nope, nope,
yeah.
nope.
But you have to understand though. Is it ghost? I don't know. Is it supernatural? I don't know. Is it
your Aunt Jenny?
explainable? No. Yeah, Aunt Jenny. I almost inhaled Aunt Jenny. Yeah, I picked up the little heart-shaped urn that was in there.
Oh,
and I thought it was
gosh.
I thought it was like hardtack candy, and it didn't help that it was like in a plastic bag, and like when you open it up. So I started ruffling it, and then I went to go smell to see if it was candy, and everybody's like, no, 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 no. I'm like, what? They're like, that's Aunt Jenny. I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh my gosh! That's perfect.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
I still think she plays with
I-
Mason.
So like the one experience I know that I've had in this house that's been slightly terrifying, and I've been very afraid because my dogs they're kind of stupid. Not gonna lie, they bark at some dumb shit. But
Bark
see,
at
I
Bart.
know. But do you know what hackles are? The hackles. Yes, they stand up on their backs. The little hairs and all that. So that rarely happens when they do bark at random things. That doesn't happen very often. That only happens when they're very like afraid of something or they know something's just not right. So it was actually Finnegan was still here at the time, and it was Ike. Well, I was back here in the bedroom, and it was like 3 in the morning, and I was falling asleep. I just started falling asleep. And obviously, like I said, my dogs, especially in the night, they don't bark. They don't bark too much at random things.
My bad.
But you're fine. But I was just sitting here, and in my bedroom, there's a door that leads out to a porch. And obviously we do get wild animals, so you know this also could be something like that. But obviously this has never happened before. I was just sleeping, and then all of a sudden, Finnegan and Ike just stood straight up in the air and started howling, and they started showing their teeth. And it was when it, like I said, I know my dog, and it was probably the scariest thing I've ever seen. It was like someone was trying to break in the house. And they were like growling and howling, and Finn had a very terrifying howl. So he just was full on, their hair was standing up, and I screamed so loud. Oh my! Everyone thought I was scary. Everyone thought I was getting murdered or something, and I just like screamed so loud. And it was really freaking. And I looked outside, there was nothing there. So that's what freaked me out the most.
Was it during
So-
spring
That's
or
crazy. That's a good.
It's
that's a good
just-
one.
Just my dogs, like I said, like
Animals telling you that there's something up.
I hate when like they stare at things randomly in the room, and you'll just see their head follow.
Now with both cats, I know Woody's seeing things because both cats have walked into a room and then both of them turned their heads the opposite direction and stared, and I'm like, yeah, we're done.
It's like okay, we're leaving. Bye. Bye
Wanna
now.
go for a walk?
bye?
Yeah.
Hey.
My mom's
Bye.
like,
Have a great time.
It's like bye, see ya. I'm not gonna hang out with you. No, but my mom's had. If you want to talk to my mom's got some fun experiences with some creepy things.
Definitely
One
have
of
to have your
her-
mom on the show.
One of her experiences was at Gettysburg.
Ah, yeah. Gettysburg is full of them.
Yeah, it was quite a scary story.
Your dad actually told me that story.
Could you give me 1 second, real quickly?
You
Okay,
can go ahead and
go.
do what you gotta do.
You'll see me, but I'm going on mute.
All right.
Yeah, no, there's like tons of like horror stories that like are out there, and if anybody's actually watching, if you have a horror story, message one of us on our Facebooks.
You know what? Check your Facebook.
And like let us know, like write the whole thing out. You know, we'll run it on one of our podcast things here. Like but no, there's been quite a few things that like even I've had that's like really, it's did that just happen kind of moment.
I am still listening. Sorry, I am still listening. Just ignore me walking around. I have to go capture a dog.
You can go ahead and do what you gotta do.
Okay. So,
Okay.
excuse the loudness that's about to happen. I'll go on mute. I think it's got out of hand.
It's okay.
No, it's okay, Alexa. It's just us.
And
Okay.
like I said, like I've witnessed different colored lights on a lot
Hi,
of,
buddy.
like,
What, Mom?
tombstones.
I got him. All
I
right,
have
I'm just put
witnessed
myself on
that.
mute quickly.
I have witnessed like several other things.
It was crazy.
From the different colored lights running in and out of headstones, I've gotten, the weird, like, you get, like, fog. You get, like, the weird handprint left on, like, a window or something. We've had that happen before. And we've had the little boy that I did tell the story on one of your actual Facebook live little chats.
Yeah.
About the little boy that turned on and off the TV. Well, we also had an old man and an old lady that lived in that house too. And they, like, I remember we would always smell cigar smoke. That's how we knew the old guy was in the house or he was around. And sometimes we would see what looked like heavy smoke, like up near like the ceiling.
Yeah.
And then there's the little lady, God bless her. We loved her because if we'd left like a glass kind of dirty sitting in the sink, we'd wake up and it'd be like cleaned and put like in our dish tray.
That's crazy.
And nobody got up near in the middle of the night because where my bedroom was, the door always was open and I always had a clear view of who was in the kitchen, like all times. It was just like some of like those crazy things.
Yeah. Well, all right. We're gonna move on here. I think what we have is we're winding down here. It's getting towards the end. I have to say that it's been fun. I've enjoyed every second talking to you ladies. I know you haven't said very much today, but you always have stuff to say, so you get a pass. You don't have to always say stuff, but
I talk every now and then, but I try to be curious and let others talk too.
But the cool thing about what I'm doing here, and I got table time with Teddy coming up. That's his podcast, and that's I want to deviate. I want to differentiate what I do because I'm gonna game. I'm gonna talk. It's gonna be interviewing people. It's going to be just a general chill time. I mean, I don't like to have a format that I stick to. I wanna keep it spontaneous. I like doing the live thing. I don't like to pre-record, although I'm gonna probably end up doing pre-recorded shows. I do want to make content. A lot of the things that I want to do with this is endless. It's just having who I have on always makes the show. So when it concerns having you on, I appreciate you doing it because it adds that second element.
And plus, we're kind of Alexa's like entertainment.
Alexa is entertainment, but she's still dealing with four-legged freaks.
Got her little puppers though. She has
All right,
puppers.
sorry, my dog opened the door.
No, that's okay. The cat just did the same thing. What we were saying, yeah, I'm sure you heard. We were winding down the show here, and I just wanted to say thank you for joining and sharing your thoughts with us. Definitely do it again.
I do have one question for everybody before we end this. What are you looking forward to doing the most once hopefully these bans get lifted?
Once the whole thing, the quarantine and stuff's over.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Everything.
Yeah, as everything. I think in specific, something, obviously if it doesn't get postponed, the one thing that I've been looking forward to for a whole entire year is I'm supposed to be doing drill team, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But hopefully.
Well, it'll happen, just not in the time frame.
We'll see.
Being able to hang back out with people.
Yeah,
Getting
back to. I need my horsey time, and that's not happening.
And Aunt Cat needs her May time.
She's gone a little.
I swear, I'm still thinking about just taking the bitching and packing him up one day and just going over to come over to y'all's house.
Well, I tell you what, something's gonna give sometime soon, and we'll be back to normal. Just we have to weather the storm for now.
Mm-hmm.
So, Alexa, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and let you back to your evening here. We're probably going to be on for another 10 minutes or so. And,
I won't be.
We're going to wind down here, and I just want to say thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for having me.
It's fun. I mean, it's not like we've got millions of viewers. It's just us. But, hey, you know what? I got to treat it like I treat it because who knows? Someday somebody will watch it and say, hey, this is cool. And it'll spread.
We have a 30-something-year-old, we have a 29-year-old, and we have a teenager.
It's for everybody.
It's for everyone.
It is. I think we'll call it. Thank you very, very much. You have yourself a good evening. Everybody else, please subscribe, hit the like, the notifications. I'll probably be on once in a blue freaking moon, but hey.
Was my computer supposed to do that split screen thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just did it. It just did it. All right.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Come back next time.